This is 1 Samuel chapter 14, verse 2. And Saul tarried in the uttermost part of Gibeah under a pomegranate tree, which is in Migron. And the people that were with him were about 600 men. And Ahiah the son of Ahitub, Ichabod's brother, the son of Phinehas, the son of Eli, the Lord's priest of Shiloh, wearing an ephod. And the people knew not that Jonathan was gone. And between the passages by which Jonathan sought to go over unto the Philistines' garrison, there was a sharp rock on the one side, and a sharp rock on the other side. And the name of the one was Bozez, and the name of the other Seneh. The forefront of the one was situate northward over against Michmash, and the other southward over against Gibeah. And Jonathan said unto the young men that bare his armor, Come, let us go into the garrison to these uncircumcised. It may be that the Lord will work for us, and there is no restraint to the Lord to save by many or by few. And his armor-bearer said unto him, Do all that is in thine heart, turn thee. Behold, I am with thee, according to thy heart. Then said Jonathan, Behold, we will pass over these men, and we will discover ourselves unto them. If they say unto us, Tarry until we come to you, then we will stand still in our place. We will not go up unto them. But if they say thus, Come up unto us, and we will go up. And the Lord hath delivered them into our hand, and this shall be a sign unto us. So Jonathan, he had escaped away from his camp, and he was ready to fight. And so he did something that was very, seems like it was among the warriors and the leaders of the righteous God. They said, if we do this, then this will happen. And if this, then the Lord is for us. So it was almost as if they were willing, and they were daring enough to put the Lord in a place where if certain scenario happens, then that means that the Lord is for them. So what was going to happen here is he and his armor bearer, they were going to go up, and what was going to happen is if the enemy says a certain thing, then they were just going to stay still. But if they if they say the other thing, which was like, but if, verse 10, 1 Samuel 14, verse 10, but if they say, thus, Come up unto us, then we will go up, for the Lord hath delivered them into our hand, and this shall be a sign unto us. So the sign would be, if the enemy said, Come up unto us, come on up here, then they know that the Lord's going to defeat them. And both of them discovered themselves unto the garrison of the Philistines. This Philistine army was a very mighty army, very strong army, one to be feared. And the Philistines said, Behold, the Hebrews come forth out of the holes where they hid themselves. They're taunting. They're sort of very characteristic was to taunt. They were taunting the Israelites and the Hebrews. So they said this. They said this is a challenge. And the men of the garrison answered Jonathan and his armor bearer and said, Come up to us, and we will show you a thing. We challenge you. You are hereby challenged. So the Philistines made it a challenge. And they said it. We're going to show them a thing or two. So I'll read it again. 1 Samuel chapter 14, verse 12. And the men of the garrison answered Jonathan and his armor bearer and said, Come up to us, and we will show you a thing. And Jonathan said unto his armor bearer, come up after me, for the Lord hath delivered them into the hand of Israel. It's done. It's so done. And so he said, this was our sign. This was our sign. We knew the code. We knew the sign. We knew that the Philistines would be delivered into the hand of Israel by this sign. And notice there wasn't a whole lot of deliberation. There wasn't a lot of talking. There was just, if this, then we don't go. If this, then the Lord's for us. And then God stood by them. So now listen to what happens. Listen to what happens. Because the Lord can tell you to go up, or he can tell you to stay put. You know, to be very, 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 very attentive in how you listen to what the Lord says when he says go and when he says stay. And if you go and he's not for you and he's not with you, then that could be the end of you right there. But if he's for you, then the enemy will be delivered into your hands. So Jonathan, he knew that God would be with him by this certain sign. So that was the tell. That was the tell that the Philistines would be defeated. So we'll say it one more time. And the men of the garrison answered Jonathan and his armor bearer and said, come up to us and we will show you a thing. Taunt, taunt, taunt. Come up to us and we will show you a thing. Taunt, taunt, taunt to the Hebrews. All they did was stand there. So, okay. So, they were sort of like, it could have gone one way or another. Jonathan said unto the armor bearer, come up after me, for the Lord hath delivered them into the hand of Israel. So it's over. And Jonathan climbed up upon his hands. So he climbed up upon his hands. All right. Okay. Jonathan climbed up upon his hands and upon his feet. He's just on his hands and feet. On his hands, with hands, and then I'm not going to show you my feet, obviously, but his hands and feet, and that's how he's climbing. All right, so Jonathan climbed up on his hands and upon his feet, and his armor bearer after him, and they fell before Jonathan, and his armor bearer slew after him. And that first slaughter, which Jonathan and his armor bearer made, was about 20 men. They just crawled up the hill, just two of them. And his armor bearer after him, same way. And then 20 men down. Does that remind you of like Luke Skywalker or something like that? Does it remind you of something that you've never seen anything like it, but you've seen it in like a really, really great, maybe a film like, in comes the hero who he just knows, even though this is a mighty warrior, these are mighty warriors that they're going to take on. The Lord is with him, and 20 men, they downed 20 men. All right. Took him down. The first slaughter which Jonathan and his armor bearer made was about 20 men, within, as it were, an half acre of land, which a yoke of oxen might plow. And there was trembling in the host in the field, and among all the people, the garrison and the spoilers. They also trembled, and the earth quaked. So it was a very great trembling. So here's what happens to the land. There was a trembling so it's about half an acre of land. So not a whole lot of land, but it was pretty good size amount of land. So here's what happened. Even the ground, all right? So there's a trembling. Okay? The Spirit of God is upon Jonathan and upon Jonathan's armor bearer. All right. So here's what happens to the land. Okay? And there was a trembling in the host, that's all the people, in the field, and among all the people, the garrison and the spoilers. They also trembled, and the earth quaked. So it was a very great trembling. So the trembling was felt so strongly because the God of the Hebrews stood for them, and he stood for them, and he decided, I'm going with these people. I'm not leaving these people alone. I'm going with my people, who said, if this, then this, if this, then God's with us. Very common, very common. You'll see that two choices, and you go if the Lord is with you and the Lord is for you, and you don't, you stay put and you stay still if he's not. All right, you got to be the listener, and you also got to be the one who's willing to say, if this, then the Lord is with me. If this, then the Lord is with me. And I don't mean that as a way to put the Lord to the test. But obviously, in this case, Jonathan knew the Spirit of the Lord was with him, so strong that the earth quaked, that the earth itself quaked, and not just the people in this half-acre of land, but the earth itself had an earthquake because of the power of the Spirit of the Lord that was upon these two men to fight their enemies. Okay, that's where I'm going to end.